Hello and welcome to the first official full-length episode of the Saltcast. This is the Barbenheimer episode. We just got back. We didn't just get back, but we did the Barbenheimer double feature. We saw Barbie and we saw Oppenheimer back to back.
And
pretty fun experience.
It was a hell of a day.
It was pretty fun. I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed both movies. What did you guys think of the whole Barbenheimer experience? Not the movies, but the whole adventure.
The overall day was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good overall. I liked the pizza, and I mostly liked the movies.
I had a lot of fun. I thought that was probably one of the best theater experiences we've had in a long time. Because we got there and then everybody was wearing pink.
So hold on. Before we got there, actually, we ended up being kind of late, not to the movie, but to meet Bert, because there was just some destroyed carcass of a car in the middle of the road that caused a huge jam. So I was worried we weren't going to make it there on time. But
yeah, we were rushing to meet with Bert to get to the movie in time, but we did make it. Unfortunately, we didn't dress up. We should have. That would have been fun.
Yeah, and it was the slowest freaking concession line of all time as well.
I don't think I own anything pink.
I have a pin.
A pen?
A pin.
Oh, a pin.
But yeah,
that whole brought dolls.
That whole experience was awesome though, because everybody in the theater, well, pretty much everybody, was wearing pink. I didn't see any, except us. I didn't see anybody with Oppenheimer stuff though. I know in other theaters I saw
the fedora.
They had the flat brim caps, and then some people were wearing suits, some people were wearing the caps. So they had a 40s kind of look. Some people did.
I don't know if you noticed though, not the whole theater, but half the people in Oppenheimer were wearing pink. So they
a bunch of people did what we did.
From Barbie, or were going to Barbie later.
Yeah. I think the best way to watch them, if you were to do that double feature, would be to do Barbie first. Yeah, I think that's the best way.
I disagree.
Really? Why?
I think Oppenheimer first. Because Oppenheimer, great movie, but it's very heavy, so to speak.
I know.
Barbie
I like that
kind of
because
turn your brain off and just watch. It's a nice break after sitting for 3 hours watching Oppenheimer.
I liked being able to think after Oppenheimer. I thought that was If we would have went right into Barbie, we would have been just kind of numb to everything.
Well, if you followed our schedule, we would have been eating between Oppenheimer and Barbie, so we could have talked about it then.
That's true. I guess if you have a break in between, but
this doesn't relate to the movies, but this was so funny. When we went to go eat, we ordered, I think, a medium and a large pizza.
Oh, yeah.
And then the lady turned around just to grab a cup or something, and then Bert goes, "Is it too late to change?"
Yeah,
meanwhile, she's only taken 3 steps.
Yeah, she didn't even take a step. She just turned around.
She looked at him like he was the stupidest person on the planet.
It was more of a rhetorical
I haven't gone that
question.
far.
A genuine question.
That's
my defense.
I want to get your guys' ranking out of 10. We're gonna start with Barbie since that's what we watched first.
Well, first let's explain our ranking system.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to do that?
Me? No, I'm good.
All right. Well, it's out of we rank movies out of 10. That's how we've always done it. 1 through 4 is below average. 1 is absolutely horrible. Dumpster fire of a movie, never watch it again type of thing.
Damn.
That's what I think. And then 2, 3, 4, slightly better. Once you're in the 4s range, they're not good movies. 5, I would say, is average. So it's solid. Not great, not good, not horrible, not
Mortal
bad.
Kombat.
Just solid. And then 6 through 7, you're taking a step up.
I would say 7 is pretty good.
Yeah, 7's pretty good. 6 is a good movie.
Good.
7's pretty good.
Yeah.
And once you get to 8 and 9, you're getting into
your masterclass films.
Yeah, great films, masterclass film, top 10.
I would say 9
lists.
is like near perfect. 8
Yeah.
is like very, very good.
8 is very good. 9 near perfect, almost flawless.
10 is going to be so rare.
Yeah, 10s are really rare.
I don't even think I've probably seen like 2 10s.
Yeah, I don't know how many 10s I've seen, but
I don't remember.
yeah, I think that
I've
kind of
never
explains
seen
the list a little bit, or the ranking system, at least how we think about it. So it kind of gives you an idea of how we, what our rankings are.
What our numbers
corresponding
mean,
to.
basically.
Yeah. So, like I said before, we're going to start with Barbie, because that's the first movie that we watched. Who wants to start us off with their ranking out of 10? What would you give the
Well,
movie?
start off with your opinions on the movie and then end with your ranking.
All right. So I thought Barbie was pretty funny overall. There was a couple good jokes. Got some good nose exhales from me. And there was one time where I definitely laughed out loud.
I know the time. I did too.
I think everybody did. There was multiple times where people were laughing out loud, though.
Yeah, but those people laughed at trailer jokes. Those people who laugh at trailer jokes are jokes themselves.
All right. I liked the music. I liked how the lyrics changed for the especially that opening song.
Oh yeah, this like the depression song that was good. That
Oh,
reminded me of if
Reflected
you guys
what was
have,
going on screen.
You're
yeah,
talking
if you
about the
guys have
Lizzo
ever
song?
seen the
Yeah.
animated Addams Family movie, there's like a song where there's like just depression singing, and it's super funny.
Yeah, I think I should say this now before we get into like any other in-depth stuff, but the reviews are they're going to be spoiler reviews, so if anybody doesn't want to know what happened in the movie,
See you next.
go see it and then come back, because the rest of the reviews are going to include a lot of spoilers for both movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer.
You've been warned. Anyways, the movie was kind of, I don't know how to phrase it without sounding terrible, but like woke, I guess.
It was political. It was a political
that's
movie.
That's a better way to frame it. But I didn't think it was too bad. Like sometimes movies and shows will like overdo it to the point where I find it annoying. But there was only one part in Barbie where it was like, all right, can we move on to the next scene?
I think I know what you mean with that too.
And keep in mind, like we're all young men, so like,
Yeah, we're all privileged.
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to say that, but like our experience of the movie is obviously we're not the intended audience. So the way that we're going to
That's a
interpret the
classic
movie
safety line.
and the way that we look at it is, I guess, different. But I think a lot of people online are giving the movie. Some people absolutely hate it. Some
I feel
people
like
think
a
it's
lot
a-
of people are going extreme in both ways. So like,
yeah, it's
you have
one
people who are
way
like,
or the
"Oh
other.
my god, that was the greatest thing ever," and then you have people who are like, "Wow, that was absolute dog shit, and we should never watch anything like that ever again." And I land in the middle.
Yeah. About the same.
Do you want to keep going, Bert?
I don't really have much else to say. Like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have more in-depth explanations than I do.
I have some more stuff that I'll talk about when I do
I
mine.
have 2 specific moments I want to focus on. And there was one super funny joke that was, I don't know, maybe like 30 or 45 minutes in, something like that.
It's like midway through, probably, yeah.
Oh my god. Bert, do you know the joke I'm talking about?
I already know what you're
Of course I
talking
do.
about.
Say it, Bert. Say it.
No, you have to say it. It's your joke.
So there was one point in the movie where, well, it's a huge section where Barbie goes to like the real world with Ken, and then she's like, "Wow, it actually sucks here. I thought we like made the world better with Barbies and stuff, but turns out that wasn't the case." That part I actually really enjoyed. So for me, the movie was solid. Like the beginning up to the middle, even up to like probably 70% of the way through. And then the ending got like to drag on a bit for me. But like the first, 2/3 of the movie, or maybe even a little bit more, I thought were were like pretty funny. There was a couple of jokes that I was like, that was stupid. Like the beach thing. I did not think the beach thing was funny. Maybe that's just me, but I thought that was
No, I
The first, like,
Thought
the
it was-
first, what was that, like 5 minutes in?
Yeah, it was.
Is that what you're talking about?
Or like when Ken runs into the wave and like that was stupid too. But I think this is just me that thinks this out of the three of us. I'm pretty sure it's like a popular opinion like just among viewers, but out of us, it's just me. The I'm Just Ken song is so good.
No, actually, I like that song. I've been listening to it.
I don't remember. I remember it from the movie, but I haven't listened to it again. It was good, though. I thought it was funny.
I don't think I've ever heard a line that hits harder than him saying, what does he go? He goes, I'm just Ken, and I'm enough. I'm so good at doing stuff. Something like that. That's so funny to me. Like, it's basically just the Friend Zone song, I guess, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Ken was my favorite part of the movie by far. I thought that
so.
Ryan Gosling definitely steals a lot of the show. Yeah, he's definitely
he
a
was
highlight
hilarious.
of the movie.
He was funny when he was like being a normal Ken, you know, like just how you'd imagine Ken. And even when he like went off the rails and like turned into, I guess, the bad guy of the movie, he was still hilarious.
Yeah.
Funniest part by far.
The Mojo Dojo Casa House.
I loved that. And then the fight with the Kens on the beach towards the end. So like that's the part where it started to fall off for me, was like before that the movie kind of stopped being as interesting to me. But then they brought up that beach fight and I was like, okay, this is actually pretty funny. Then it was like whatever towards the end. But
Tell your joke. You never told the joke.
oh yeah, there was one part in the real world where like Barbie's like, so only men run this this company, because she was at Mattel, it's called, right?
Yeah, Mattel.
That's what I thought. And she was just confused about how
All
it
the
was just
CEOs are
men
men, and everybody, the whole company is run by men and everything.
yeah. So then what's his name? Jared or something like that?
Some like no level.
I
Yeah,
think
I don't know.
it's Aaron. I think it's Aaron.
Aaron.
I
it
forget
might
who
be
the
Aaron.
actor is.
He goes, I'm a man with no power. Does that make me a woman? That was so. That was like hilarious because he was just such a loser.
That one got
That
a lot
joke
of
was the
laughs
one
in
that
our
made me
theater.
laugh out loud.
That
Yeah,
was the one part that made me laugh out loud. Yeah.
That one got laughs in the theater too by everybody.
Yeah, that was good. But like overall, I would say I liked it more than I thought I would. But there was one section, being the last maybe 15 minutes, aside from the beach fight, that I liked less than I thought I would like any of the movie. So, but overall, yeah, better than I thought it was going to be. Definitely funnier than I expected. And like, honestly, my main complaint about it is the daughter of the mom was like such a bitch.
She was so mean for no reason.
Yeah, she was just like hating on her mom the entire movie.
By the end of the movie, they kind of like reconciled and understood each other a little better. The movie is a story about mothers and daughters, like the relationship between mothers and daughters, the kind of the different experience that mothers and daughters have had with Barbie over the years, like as a toy and as a social thing. It's like I feel
over time.
Yeah, the backbone and like the heart of the story is the mother and daughter story. And it's in multiple ways. Like they do it through Barbie and the creator of Barbie, Ruth Handler is her name. That's the older lady that we see in the Mattel building.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
ghost.
like she is the mother of Barbie. And so that's another mother-daughter story that they're telling, and it like just continues on. So
I like the part in the movie, like during that speech part, where it was like mothers stop walking so their daughters can look back and see how far they came, or something similar to that.
yeah,
I just thought that was a nice.
That's a great quote.
I just thought that was a nice saying in general.
I forgot.
thought that was
I
cool
have
too,
it
yeah.
written down exactly. I forget what it is exactly. I'll find it. At
Mothers
some point and
stop
say it.
running so their daughters can look back and see how far they've come. something similar to that.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, overall, I liked every character except that kid. Like, I mean, like, obviously I don't know how little girls are with Barbies now, but I was under the impression that no one really gives a fuck about Barbie anymore.
No, I think people still care about Barbie, especially older generations of women.
Yeah, older people, but like little kids now don't give a fuck about Barbie. They're on their iPads and shit.
They're on Threads.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what little girls, what toys little girls play with. I mean, Barbie.
I would hope not.
Yeah, I guess I don't know either, but I was, until this Barbie movie was like, you know, making news and stuff, I was under the impression that Barbie was like not really something anyone gave much thought anymore. Like, kids are more into digital things now.
No, I think young girls probably still all play with Barbies, or at least some. I feel like every little girl gets a Barbie at some point.
But did you see that they announced?
Yeah, but they get their mom's old Barbie, and then it just ends up in the closet or something.
That's true.
Yeah, real quick, I have the quote. It's I did have it. Now I just lost it.
Of course you did.
Oh, here it is. We mothers stand still so that our daughters can look back to see how far they've come. That is a great quote. And I think
Let's go, moms.
That's relevant not only to mothers and daughters, but parents
in general. Yeah.
So that one hits deep, definitely. There was a few really good. There was some really good writing at certain points in the movie that I thought was really good.
I mean, nothing will top Just Ken.
Yeah, obviously.
That is a masterpiece.
Anywhere else?
Give me your
10.
Give me your guys'
My top
rankings.
10 songs.
No,
Just
your rankings.
Ken is number 1. Bert, you go first because you were.
Yeah, I'm thinking either like a 6, 7, 6.5. I guess we'll say.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of halves, so I think I would say the movie was at 7 level for me for the first half, and then kind of dropped down to a 6 after it ended.
Okay, so like, what are you gonna say?
So
6 or 7?
I just said it dropped to a 6 after it ended.
So you thought it was a slightly above average?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get into my review of it. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought I had a good time watching it and everything. It was funny. I think the key for this movie, too many people are taking it way too seriously. It's a summer movie. It's supposed to be fun. It's lighthearted. It's funny.
It was funny.
And it's very satirical, I think. I didn't find everybody's upset because they said that well, for one, it's a feminist director, Greta Gerwig.
Ken gets bodied at the end, basically.
Greta Gerwig is the director and a co-writer on the film. She's a feminist director, so everybody automatically had a bad taste in their mouths just knowing that, and already had predisposed opinions about the movie before even seeing it.
Going into it negatively.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the movie doesn't take itself seriously in the first place, so I don't understand why so many people are taking the political and social issues so seriously when the movie itself is making fun of it and taking it to a level that it's just completely outrageous. I don't think it's intended to be taken so literal. Obviously, everybody's upset. Everybody throughout the movie, they're shitting on men, and most of them, pretty much all of the men, are made out to look like idiots or they're just dumb or whatever.
Alan.
Yeah, I guess Alan's maybe somewhat of an exception, but he's
him
almost
and
irrelevant.
Then the real world version of him. There's Alan, and then there's the guy that's a man with no power. That he's basically Alan of the real world.
Yeah. But the contrast between Barbie Land and the real world, obviously in Barbie Land, women run everything. The women are the presidents. They're on the Supreme Court. They're doctors. They're pilots.
Yeah,
doctors.
but they don't
everything.
control the beach.
Yeah, Ken runs the beach.
Ken's beach.
Yeah.
And then obviously once the Barbie goes to the real world, she finds out that it's the total opposite. Men run most of the everything.
And not horses.
Yeah, well, that's Ken. But men run everything basically, and Barbie's shocked, and she's surprised that the world isn't what she thought it was, that they made it so much better for women and all of that. But people took it really serious and like are really offended by the way that they portray men in the movie. But I don't really think it's like that. I didn't think it was that deep. I thought it was funny. So
I also thought it was funny for like most of the movie. The only part that annoyed me was the little girl shitting on her mom all the time. I was like, damn, your mom likes this toy. Give her a break.
Yeah, there was a speech too towards the end of the movie when Ken is taking over Barbie Land and all of the other Barbies have been brainwashed.
That the mom gave?
Yeah, that the mom gives Gloria.
A little bit cringy.
You could tell like that at that point, like it felt shoehorned in, like, and I don't know if it's just
I wouldn't have minded. I wouldn't have minded it if it was like one or two things, but she went on for like maybe a minute.
Yeah, she gives that speech. That speech lasts a minute, if not more, and it basically just talks about the patriarchy and how difficult it is to be a woman, and it's almost impossible to be a woman in this day and age. You have to. I think one thing she said that
all these things.
Yeah, which
you gotta be pretty, but not too pretty, or you're a skank or something like that.
Yeah, there's things like that. Which some of those things I think are true. Then there's other things where they lean the whole other way, and it's like, there was one thing she said that it's like, if I'm not interested in a man or something, I have to respect his ego and try not to hurt his feelings or something. If I'm rejecting him, basically, which I don't
can't say no, but
what was it? Do you know?
I don't
it was something
even
like
remember
you can't
this.
Say yes, because then you come off as too prude, and then you can't say no because then you come off as rude.
Yes. It was something along those lines. But I don't think that, especially today, that there's women have an obligation to men's feelings and that thing. Like,
I mean, girls say no to Bert all the time.
Bert's the perfect example.
Yeah.
He's been rejected countless times, and nobody's cared about his feelings.
They don't care about my feelings. They do it ruthlessly.
I mean, who could? Look at you.
But my point is, like, they lean really heavily in certain directions that I just don't think, like, that expectation of women, I don't think is genuine, in my opinion.
I think they blew everything out of proportion to make a point.
I don't think they blew everything out of proportion. I think there was just some things like that one specifically.
No, I know, but like I feel like they kind of, I don't want to say inflated, but I will. They kind of inflated.
But I'm going to.
Political, like serious, like not the political, like the issues or like the things they talked about to make it obvious and to make it like apparent that this is what happens. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's definitely obvious, but I think that that's intentional. I think
I do too.
It's more satire than literal representation of like our society.
I mean,
it's obviously to an extreme.
Yeah, I thought overall, like, the satire was fine. Like, I would say 70% of the movie was funny.
Yeah.
I would too. I thought it was funny. I thought it was fun. I thought some of the political issues were a little too much sometimes. And
yeah, but it was never to the point where I was like, oh my God, this shit. It was like one or two times I was like, that was cringe. And then I just kind of kept watching.
Yeah. And I agree with some of the things that they try to highlight and some of the things that they try to represent. Yeah, and like I'm not going to say that none of it makes sense because for like I don't know, maybe women do feel like that at certain points, which I'm sure some do. You know?
I mean, everyone's different, you know? There's always someone for something.
Yeah. But I do want to say one thing. If the movie is trying to be literal with everything that it's saying, I don't think that that's a good way to get your message across. Because you have to be in touch with reality too at some point and realize this movie is going to be controversial. Like, people are going to argue about this movie. People are going to dislike it. People are going to get in arguments about it. Like, you're creating more division between men and women by doing this. I think.
Yeah, if
'Cause
you
there's
make
going to
men
be
feel
some
like they
people
hate
that,
it.
yeah, they're gonna villainize men, and then
Yeah, like that
paints a
kid
really
that
bad
was sitting
picture.
next to you.
Oh yeah, there was a little girl that was sitting next to me, or a couple. She might have been a couple seats over, but she she was shitting on Ken the whole movie. She hated him.
Like out loud, it was annoying. Like fuck,
Every
I'm
time
trying
he
to
come
watch
on
the movie, and every time Ken comes on, I gotta hear, "Oh my god, you're
Suck her
gross."
teeth or like throw up.
Yeah,
But like really loud.
yeah,
Like
that
you
was
couldn't hear the
obnoxious.
movie when she was doing it.
Yeah,
Like
I
damn,
mean,
I get it. You hate Ken, but you gotta like block the whole ass movie.
yeah, and I don't know how little girls are gonna like see men and stuff. I don't know. I get you can get deeper, I guess, if you want with it, but I don't think it was that.
You can look
serious.
into it as much or as little as you feel like you need to.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a fun,
Yeah.
not serious. It's a fun movie that
Barbie
has
movie, like-
that takes a look at serious things. So it's a balance.
But here's
sometimes
the
they
thing,
do a
though.
good job. Sometimes it's over the top. But it is what it is.
But here's the deal, right? I think I liked it more than I would have as like a child. I don't think I would have liked that movie at all as like
I don't think most
God.
kids are going to even understand a lot of the political undertone and like
That-
some of the social
well,
issues that are
it
being
wouldn't
talked
be-
about.
I just don't think it would have been funny at all if I was like a little kid or something.
There are a lot of adult jokes. A lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex jokes in that movie now that I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it.
There is. So, and as a kid, I wouldn't have, like, as a 12-year-old or whatever, I wouldn't have picked up on
Yeah.
any of that
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying. Like, if you watch that as a kid, what are the main jokes? Like, maybe you get the beach off, and then like Ken running into a wave, and them chasing Barbie through the store or through the like business. Those are like the main funny parts.
I
if
think
you
the
don't
thing with horses,
understand them.
the horse thing.
No,
Ken's
that one's
obsessed with
good,
horses the whole time. He thinks that horses are like a major
Basically,
part of the
he's a cowboy.
patriarchy and everything, and then he comes out, finds to realize that horses don't actually matter that much. He's devastated.
That will be funny for kids. But like, yeah, I actually feel like thinking back, a lot of the jokes aren't even targeted for kids. Like,
I'm pretty sure the movie's marketed towards like millennials and like that age group.
yeah, it's looking like it's more for 20s to early 30s.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I don't know. I'm not sure what they were thinking, but what else do we want to talk? I'll give it my score. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was above average and then some. So I thought it was funny. It was fun. I had a good time with it.
I think
I don't
it,
really
it
have
could have been a
complaints.
7 for me.
Ryan Gosling
If they
steals the
would've-
show. Margot,
I think it could have been
go ahead.
I think it could have been a 7 for me if they would have stuck in the real world a little bit longer. Because they didn't really stay there that long. I think it would have been funny to see like them experience more real life things.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
well that would have worked just because the real world was so like Barbie world was goofy, but the real world was like goofy too on top of it. So I don't know how long they could really stay there.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. I had fun. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I
Agree.
wanna. Is there anything that you guys want to talk about with the movie? Like any opinions that we haven't touched on?
I don't think so.
I
I
think
think I'm good.
there's a couple things I wanted to say, like filmmaking wise, like decision making and like creative decisions that I thought were kind of cool.
I liked the opening.
Yes, the opening. That's what I was just about to talk about that. The movie opens with like it's a direct recreation of like the opening to A Space Odyssey from back in the day.
Mhm.
Only they just replace there's just there's a bunch of little girls like on a like a desert.
Instead of monkeys, they're girls. Instead of a rock, it's a
Yeah, instead of rocks, they're playing with Barbie dolls. Or not Barbie dolls, baby dolls.
hmm
And then Margot Robbie appears, and she's towering over everybody, and she's like the monolith that's in A Space Odyssey. She's like
She's massive.
yeah, she has like all the power and
Yeah,
like
she
everything.
is.
So that scene was pretty cool. The opening was fun, and then it transitions to the Barbie logo after the little girl smashes the baby doll.
Mm-hmm.
She literally
Violent.
busts that thing's head open and everything. Like, it shatters.
Her face, that entire scene was so funny.
Yeah, and then we get into Barbie Land and all of the craziness of the movie. But that opening I thought was pretty cool.
You reminded me of something, actually, that I do want to say.
Go ahead.
I'm very disappointed that the only time they played, like, what I consider the prime Barbie theme song was in the credits.
That was actually tragic.
Yeah, they didn't play the classic Barbie theme song that everybody knows.
They did in the
Missed
credits,
opportunity.
but I think it might have been a remix. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
But they should have done that at the beginning when she was going around town.
Yeah.
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 I like the point that they make, like, before Barbie, little girls only really had baby dolls to play with, so, like, they were only ever allowed to play, well, not allowed, but the only thing available was baby dolls, so, like, the only thing they could, like role play as were, like, mothers.
moms.
And then Barbie kind of, like, flipped everything on its head, and there was Dr. Barbie, Astronaut Barbie, President Barbie, all the other Barbies.
Lawyer Barbie.
Yeah, lawyers, doctors, writers, painters, anything you can think of. And so,
Not a normal, average Barbie.
well, they're stereotypical Barbie.
Stereotypical?
That's Margot Robbie.
No, like, normal person Barbie.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Because that was, like, the whole point of the movie. At the end, they're like, why don't you just make a normal person Barbie that isn't so perfect?
That wasn't the point of the movie.
No, but the mom was saying that.
yeah, that was her $1 million idea that she gave away for free.
Yeah. What else did I want to say? There's a bunch of references and callbacks to A Wizard of Oz too. Like, this movie definitely has strong ties to The Wizard of Oz and tries to mimic it a lot. Like, for example, Barbie is Dorothy. She represents Dorothy. She's the one going on, like, the grand journey of discovery, and she's rediscovering herself and finding out her place in the world and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you could say that Ken is like Toto, the dog, or you could say he's like the Tin Man because he's just looking for his heart or like his purpose.
Who he is.
So
And he
Identity.
never finds it.
He's Knuff.
no, he finds it at the end. He realizes he doesn't need Barbie, that he can be Ken, separate from Barbie, not Ken or Barbie and Ken. He can just be Ken. So he finds his
But anywhere
his
else, he'd be a
purpose.
10.
Yeah.
Stop quoting the song.
What else? When they're going to the real world, Barbie leaves Barbie Land with Ken. They're going down a pink brick road instead of a yellow brick road. There's actually a poster for The Wizard of Oz in the background of one of the shots as they're leaving Barbie Land that's playing at like the theater. So that's also in there.
I didn't notice that.
I think Will Ferrell's character, the CEO of Mattel, he's like the wizard. He's like wizard behind the scenes, kind of orchestrating everything.
Yo, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I did not find any Will Ferrell scene funny.
I thought he was funny. I liked Will Ferrell.
I liked when they were all on the tangent bike together. Like when they
I
were
guess
going
that was
to Barbie Land.
okay, but like I don't think I nose exhaled at all with Will Ferrell, except for when it was that other guy standing next to him, you know, like the
Mhm.
Alan of the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ruth Handler, she makes an appearance. Not the Ruth Handler, obviously, but that's the
Ruth Handler?
the creator of Barbie. She's in the movie. She's like the good witch.
Her
She's
daughter
a
was in
ghost.
the movie.
Yeah,
She's a literal ghost.
She's a ghost in the movie. Yeah, she lives on like the 17th floor of the Mattel building in a room back in the middle of nowhere.
Did you know
I mean,
her
it
daughter
happens
was
to
in
the
the
best.
movie though?
What?
Her daughter
No.
is, remember in the scene when they're at the bus stop?
Yeah, that's her
Barbie
daughter.
looks
That's
over.
Barbara.
Yeah. It's Barbara.
Yeah, that's who Barbie's named after. If anybody didn't know, Barbara was
Wow.
Ruth Handler's daughter.
There's some
Whoa,
Barbie
wait.
lore.
Did they say that in the movie that was the daughter?
Yeah, no, they don't say it, but it is her.
But she says, "I'm Barbara," right?
I don't know if she
I
even
don't
says
think
her
she
name.
says her name.
I totally missed that. I didn't know that until just now. That's kind of cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's all of the Wizard of Oz stuff that I remembered. We kind of hit on all like the political stuff. Trying to think what else I have in my notes. Talked about the controversialness of it. Let's see.
Hey, does anyone know if Just Ken is on iTunes?
I think it is now.
I remember seeing it on YouTube,
I think it's on
but it wasn't a
Spotify.
full...
I think it's on Spotify. I think it's actually it's blowing
You
up.
could buy it.
It's got
I'm totally getting it. I really liked that song.
It's on Apple Music.
I
Just Ken.
figured it would be.
I'm looking it up
Ryan
right now.
Gosling.
Do we want to try and
Yeah.
do we want to talk about the ending a little bit?
So here's,
Yeah,
we can. And I actually have something to say about it. I find it kind of cool, actually, that she goes to the real world and she's like, oh my God, I hate it here. This sucks. So she heads back to Barbie World and, then
Fixes
the whole
everything.
thing happens and she gets Barbie World back to pretty much how she would consider it good.
Barbie Land, not world.
Yeah, whatever.
It's their world.
The point I'm trying to say is I found it interesting that even though she hated the real world, even though she thought it was terrible and it sucked, she still chose to go back there, which
Yeah.
I thought was kind of interesting.
She chose to be human.
Yeah, I forget the line that she delivers at the end. It's something where
Oh, it was I'm here to see the gynecologist is what she said.
not
Yeah,
that
and then
one.
it cut to credits.
That's
That was the last line
that
she
was
said.
the last line. Yes, at the very end of the movie, Barbie is in the real world and she's a real person and she's doing real people things and she has to go see her gynecologist.
It was earlier in the movie. They said that they didn't have genitals. So
There
that was
are
them.
so many genital jokes. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially by construction workers.
Yeah.
The point is, though, I just thought it was interesting that even though she thought it was a terrible world, she still was like, you know what? It's still something I want to experience.
That's the line. It's either from I can't remember who says it. It's
The old lady.
Is
the
it
ghost.
her? Is it the ghost? Is it Ruth
Yeah.
Handler?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're
says-
trying to say.
She shows her like a flash through of life.
Oh yes,
much.
you reminded me of something. That's a really cool scene too because those images, they're not just stock images. Those are actually
they're
images
real.
from the cast and the crew that she gathered together, and they're all home videos. There's even some of Margot Robbie as a kid in there, so those are all real like people that worked
That's
on the
cool.
movie. They're home videos, which is pretty cool.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah, so
I thought
that's
that
pretty
was
cool.
pretty cool.
But the line that I'm thinking of, it happens like either right before that or right after that, and Ruth Handler's explaining to Barbie they're in like a
Oh, I think I know
like
what you mean.
like a
Where
limbo kind of place.
She's talking about how she doesn't want to be what's made. She wants to be making things. Is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about?
Yeah, she doesn't want to be the idea or the inspiration. She wants to be the one that's having the ideas and creating things, not the creation. Which is her like grand
Yeah.
moment of self-discovery and realizing that she wants to be more than just
Human.
Barbie and she wants to be human.
And she leaves Ken to rule over Barbie World.
She leaves Barbie Land and goes to the real world. But yeah, that's like the basic. That's the pretty much the ending. And then she decides
we-
to go to the real world.
Yeah, I actually liked that part of the ending where she ended up going to the real world. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Don't have much to say.
I think
just
that
agree.
covers everything pretty much for Barbie. I don't
Should
think
we
I
move
have
into the
anything
next
else
movie?
really to say.
Yeah, I think I'm good too to move forward.
Me as well.
All right, Oppenheimer is next. I'm excited for Oppenheimer. I really liked Oppenheimer a lot.
Yeah, I have a couple of things I do want to bring
So,
up.
here's the thing. And I think this will be unpopular, but I liked Barbie more than I thought I would, and I liked Oppenheimer less than I thought I would.
Mm-hmm.
I liked
Now,
Oppenheimer
I
about
still-
as much as I thought I would. I thought it was a great movie.
Well, I still really liked Oppenheimer, but I was like, just the way people were hyping it up, I was expecting like a 10 out of 10 perfect movie, which is my own fault, I guess, for like letting the hype get to me.
I mean, it's up there. It's pretty good. It gets up. I mean, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, but it gets close.
So, Bert, you started out.
All right. So I liked the visuals. Like that. Remember that scene of him dreaming?
Let's talk about. Hang on. Let's talk about the movie, like itself first before we do that, because then we're just gonna be jumping around. Yeah, randomly. Basically, the movie is about J. Robert Oppenheimer. It's a biopic, so we're following him. It's his experience. It's his life, pretty much. And I think you jump through probably like 4 or 5 decades of his life at different points in time. And so it's all about his role in creating the atomic bomb, his part as the lead scientist on the Manhattan Project and all that went into that. And then it goes on to cover the periods and points of his life after the war, after the atomic bomb's been built, after it's been dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we see things that I never even actually knew about. I always knew about the bomb and all of that stuff, and I knew him as like the father of the atomic bomb and everything. But I had no idea that, and you see it later throughout the movie, how he was discredited and his reputation was torn apart, and he kind of really just got ran through the mud after the war and everything. Yeah.
I did know about that, but I didn't know it was to the extent.
Yeah, I didn't know it was to that extent either. He really gets messed up. Like they really tear him apart.
I actually think I went in knowing the least about this without the movie, and I think that because I just didn't know that much about like the whole story on its own already, that the first like 20 minutes were super confusing because there was a lot of jumping back and forth in time periods.
Yeah. That is true.
It jumps back and forth between the process
he's making the bomb and after.
The process of building the team that worked on the Manhattan Project, and then the process of assembling, all of that, and then the building of the bomb, all the ideas, the planning, the theory that went into it,
first test,
the science, the first test, all of that, and then it jumps. All of those scenes play throughout the movie, and then it jumps forward in time to the hearing, the hearing that they have, where it's not an official hearing, it's not in front of a judge or anything like that. I think it's in front of the AEC, which is the Atomic Energy Commission.
Well, the hearing is for him to get his clearance back.
Yeah, so he's up for renewal on his security clearance. And basically, he's getting ran through the mud and getting his reputation questioned and all of those things, and
they're bringing up his past,
past
relationships,
past ties to Communist Party members, past ties to the Communist Party himself, all of that. And so we jump back and forth between the bomb building and that hearing. Is basically how the movie kind of plays out.
Yeah. And so the way like the movie is laid out, it actually starts off after the bomb has been created and used, and they're trying to get him to teach at some school. I forget which one, but
that's not after.
That is after.
When he's asked to be the professor?
Yeah, that's after.
What are you talking about? Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about when he was a kid, or not a kid, but when he was in college.
No, I'm talking about when Robert Downey Jr. asked.
Yeah. You're right. I was thinking of when he was in college.
That's after.
Yes,
then
that is
it
after.
Cuts back in time, I think, to when he is becoming like a teacher for the first time, like a theory teacher at a different school. And then it cuts forward again, even past the first time period, to where he's like on trial now. So that, like, to me at least, like it took just like the first 20 minutes or so, it was really confusing. I was like, I don't know what time we're in or what the hell's going on.
It definitely took me a minute to figure out the order in which things were happening.
Yeah, it wasn't until like you went back to a certain time period, like a second or third time, that you're like, okay, this is after that other one. And then sometimes it cuts to a different part that I think is midway through the bomb creation, where they're all at that big circular table talking about like the like timeline gets very.
I think
confusing.
that was before the construction of the city, though. That round table.
I honestly have no idea.
I'm not sure either.
I need to see a timeline for that movie.
Yeah, but once it like settles in to mostly two main timelines, which is the process of them making the bomb and the court hearing, then it's not as confusing.
Mm-hmm. Then, yeah, for sure.
Those are the main parts of the movie: the hearing and then the bomb.
The process of creation. Yeah. Once it settles on just focusing on those things, I didn't have a problem with it. I really liked it. But the first like little bit, it took me a second to like understand where in the timeline I was. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. But I was very confused for like the first few minutes.
I feel like if you had more historical context, like going in, you would probably know what was happening from the get-go.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, I didn't feel as confused. I kind of figured it out quick, I thought. And you could tell, because some of the scenes are shot in black and white, and then other scenes are shot in color. But what's funny is that the future was usually shot in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. The reason that it's shot in black and white and in color is the color scenes represent Oppenheimer, and the black and white scenes are for Strauss, which is the villain, or the antagonist. Sense. It's Robert Downey Jr.'s character.
That makes sense, but it just...
Oppenheimer is shot in color because the color represents the more nuanced and like complex feelings that he's feeling about the bomb and about his self-doubt and his anxiety, versus Strauss, who sees everything as black and white, and it's to the point. There's no really right or wrong. It's just, how do we accomplish this? How do we accomplish that? So Strauss's black and white shots are his view on like atomic energy, and it's a clear-cut issue. He doesn't see all of like the social issues, and like he doesn't have the doubts or the guilt and the complexities that Oppenheimer has. So that's why they're shot in color and in black and white, to contrast the two characters.
That makes sense, definitely, now that you've explained it. But when I was watching it, the main thing I was thinking was like, usually black and white means it's older. And
it didn't have anything to do with time.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that was like something that I realized during the movie.
Okay, yeah.
I see what you mean. Like, yeah, the way you interpreted it watching.
Yeah, I don't know if the way I explained it makes sense, but...
Yeah, that makes sense. My main issue, it sounds like I'm complaining a lot, but it's only because I mostly liked the movie. There's a lot of good things about it, but I just wish they would have focused more time on the process of like creating the bomb. I feel like that only ended up being like maybe a third or like maybe 40% of the movie.
Not even. Minus the explosion scene, they had them talking about the trigger mechanism, and then what else?
I mean, the movie wasn't really it's about the creation of the bomb.
No, it's more about the hearing after. No, that's like the main focus of the movie.
The theme of the movie is guilt, and it's a character study on Oppenheimer. They're not really concerned. I'm just saying that the main focus, like, of where your most screen time is that hearing afterwards. I think there's more screen time on the Los Alamos stuff.
Sorta.
Well, not Los Alamos specifically, but just that time period.
That I can kind of agree with.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to go check. Maybe just the end dragged on a bit for me and it seemed longer.
Well, the movie was long.
It is a long movie. It's very long. It's 3 hours plus.
3 hours. No, it's about 3 hours. I timed it.
Yeah, so it definitely is long. But I never felt bored, really. I was kind of hooked from the beginning to the end. I didn't feel like it dragged.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, I got hooked once they actually started. Probably once they split the atom and like they're like, oh my god, look, they did. That's when it like really kicked off for me.
Yeah, the guy ran to his lab to try it and see if it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of get into like my review of the whole thing then. So I'm going to start with like the opening. We went through the plot like in general somewhat. Like you guys get the general story that's being told. But basically the movie opens, and do you guys remember the subtitles that it gives in the beginning? It says fission. Do you remember that? And then it opens to a scene of Oppenheimer. I think he's in college.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then
I don't know what it said, but I do remember seeing it.
It said fission.
Okay.
And then that represents Oppenheimer. So the fission scenes are all Oppenheimer. And then there's another subtitle titled Fusion, and that's Strauss. So fusion's the more like explosive of the two, and it leads to the hydrogen bomb, because that's how the hydrogen bomb is created, and the atomic bomb uses fission.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of just to represent that Strauss is having like a more explosive impact on, I think it's society, because of the way that he views atomic energy and everything. Like it's going to really impact the way that the
How
world
he's pushing for it.
Yeah, the world uses atomic energy, whereas Oppenheimer is a little bit more subdued and like reluctant at times. There's other times where he's going for it. Like his goal is to build the bomb, and they do it. But I thought those two opening subtitles were cool. If you kind of understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
The movie definitely is focused on Oppenheimer's guilt and like his remorse and his second guessing of a lot of things. And they do a great job of making him really human. Like obviously he's a real person, but Cillian Murphy, the actor who plays him, and the whole cast, everybody feels really.
You're talking about Scarecrow.
Yeah, everybody feels really conflicted,
Real.
and everybody really does a good job of like portraying how intense like this time period must have been, because nothing that they were doing had any precedent. So everybody's walking on eggshells. Nobody knows what's going to happen. There's one point where they think that the creation of the atomic bomb, if they do drop a bomb, that it'll even destroy the entire world. Like the atmosphere is going to catch on fire.
Burn. That was a real
that
thing
actually
that
is one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, was like the tension, even though obviously we know how it would turn out, but like the tension that you can see that they're portraying as the characters.
Yeah,
it felt like
serious.
Possibility.
Yeah, and for that time period, like you can only imagine like what people must have been thinking. They're like, oh my god, like what if this is like really happens? And basically, there was a time where the math the calculations that they had been making, there was a possibility that they could set the atmosphere on fire. They say that it's like a near zero, is what they say whenever the scientists are asked about it. So it's basically
It's all theory.
Yeah, but it's all theory. It's never been physically tested. So
Right.
in the back of everybody's mind, when they do drop the first bomb, even though the scientists know it's like not going to happen, there's still that thought that like, man, this could really happen.
What if it does?
Yeah. So that was
that
pretty
was
cool.
a really interesting thing. And then I had one other specific scene that was probably my favorite, and I think it matches up with Bert's. So I'll let him talk about that one.
All right. So I think the scene you're referring to is the rally, right?
Yeah, it is.
So just for some context, right after they dropped the nuke on Hiroshima or Hiroshima, whatever you want to say it.
Yeah, the Truman drops the bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Yeah.
and they were
So
successful.
Oppenheimer like relays that message to everyone staying at Los Alamos, and like all the civilians, so to speak, are celebrating. They're excited. They're happy, and then it shows that Oppenheimer, like as he's on stage, it's like he's having like a panic attack almost of guilt for what he did.
Yeah, he's really conflicted. He's like experiencing like major guilt, major remorse. He's questioning everything that he's done.
Yeah.
He looks sick.
Yeah, but he has to play it off.
Really cool.
He has to play it off, and he's
like, if only we could have hit the Germans with that one.
Yeah, and he's like very patriotic, but internally he's like very conflicted and very distraught.
So then he walks off stage, and then you see as like outside of like where they were having the speech, you see all the scientists that work on the nuke crying, vomiting, like broken men basically over the remorse and guilt that they have for what they did inadvertently.
Yeah. Those were supposed to be actual people. That's not like something that is being done just for the sake of the film. Apparently that there were people in the crowd. There was mostly people were cheering, but then there's other people that got sick. There's people that were crying. Like those were all supposed to be genuine real reactions.
That was one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
It really like it was just a cool contrast to see like the typical like people celebrating, but then you see like the darker side of what happened. And
yeah. Another cool part about that scene that you're talking about in the movie throughout is the sound design. So the sound design in this movie,
very loud, that movie.
Yes, the sound design in this movie is awesome, and it does a great job of telling us the story. And the score is great. They have a great score. It's done by Ludwig. Do you guys know Ludwig? I don't know his last name. No. But Christopher Nolan, the director, he usually works with Hans Zimmer, who's a very, very successful. I don't know what it's called. Sound designer, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, he works with Ludwig in this one, which is different from his previous movies. And for context, Ludwig he wrote the themes for The Mandalorian. He wrote the themes for, I think, Tenet. He did Creed, and he did Black Panther. So he's got like a great resume. All of the Creed movies he's worked on.
Well, 3 isn't that good.
But he's had some great scores. He's killing it. And Oppenheimer's another one. The score for Oppenheimer is great. And the use of sound throughout the movie is like a whole nother character too. So the way
that's true. Also, I recommend, because we saw it in RPX, which is like basically IMAX equivalent.
Not as good, but close enough.
Yeah, I would say definitely try and see it in one of those like high-end audio setups.
Yeah, you're doing
worth the extra $3 for your ticket.
Yeah, you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't see the movie in like an IMAX or an RPX, because the sound and the visuals. The
sound is the best part.
Yeah, the sound is really, really good. And the way
my head was vibrating.
Yeah, like the theater was vibrating in the theater.
Poor people watching Barbie next door.
Yeah, but they use sound, and the way that they don't use sound also is really cool.
Oh yeah,
I would like to see I'm Just Ken in RPX.
There's a scene where it's the test scene where they drop the Trinity test, where they drop the first bomb, and it's just silent when the bomb drops. All you see is the fire and the explosion, but you don't hear anything.
Then you're getting
tense
away
in your seat, waiting for like the loud.
Yeah. Bert was covering his ears for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, the buildup is crazy, and you can just see like the bright white light that's flashing over everybody, and it's pretty intense. That scene's really good.
And you know what was cool actually that I thought was interesting was the actual, at least in the one we saw it in, the actual bomb exploding. It was loud and it was cool, but it wasn't actually as loud or aggressive as the sounds of the cheering of the people when the bomb went off.
Yes, I was going to talk about that. And it's not actually the cheering. Let me say this first. The bomb that they use is TNT. That's like those are all practical effects. Christopher Nolan is very against CGI. He doesn't rarely ever use CGI in any of his films, and this is no exception. So that explosion was a practical effect. They used, I don't know how much TNT, but...
Can I say something then?
Hang on. They used a ton of TNT to create that explosion. Then they got close-up shots. They're not like stock images or anything like that. Those are practical effects that they actually did on set.
Can I say something now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought the explosion looked like shit.
Really? I liked it because...
Yeah.
Well, I guess because I knew it was practical, but I thought that was really cool.
It looked like... I think it was too close up of a shot because it was basically just only fire that you saw, and it like filled the whole screen. To me it looked like a stock image almost that you could just find on like your default Windows computer or something.
Okay.
When it did the wide shot, it looked good, but the close up part, not so much.
Okay.
My favorite practical effect was, remember that dreaming sequence he did? Like, remember whenever he was like dreaming?
I saw this in your notes. I don't remember this. No, I wasn't sure what you were talking about.
It was like when he was like daydreaming, and it was in the beginning of the movie. It did it. It was, like showed like the different like sine waves and particles, like the stars and stuff.
Yes, the
all of that was done practically.
Yeah, that was practical.
That's cool. That's cool.
Like that was like, I didn't know that when I was watching it, and I found out later. But I think that was like, knowing that it's practical just makes it so much cooler.
Yeah, those are when he's thinking of all of his quantum theory and all of that stuff, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah. Like, you can see him almost visualizing the way atoms work and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's sick,
a cool scene. Or there's multiple scenes of that, but yeah. What else did I want to say about the sound? Oh, you made the point, Sebastian, about how the actual explosion, the sound of it wasn't as loud as the crowd.
The like stomping of the feet and the cheering and
there's times in the movie throughout, even before the bombs ever dropped, where there's that really loud sound it was the sound that was vibrating the whole theater. Do you remember, like, throughout the movie?
Yeah. No, I know the sound.
That sound is the same sound that is it's the stomping of all of the people in the...
Yeah, that's what I said.
But it's not their cheering. It's not the cheering. It's the stomping on the ground.
The stomping. I literally said that.
You said cheering.
I said stomping.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. But they keep playing that back before the bomb is ever dropped, because every time Oppenheimer gets he's anxious or he's doubtful or he's feeling guilty or he's unsure of what to do, and like we go and like inside of his mind and we get those close-up shots of Cillian Murphy where that sound is just going crazy in our ears.
Yeah.
I thought those were really cool. That was a great use of sound and a great use.
Definitely add pressure to the scene.
Yeah, and it kind of deafens out all the other noise and all the other voices, and we're just in his head, and all he hears is
it's almost like those moments when an explosion goes off and you hear ringing.
It's exactly like that. Yep. It's exactly like that.
This is a little bit different, but I think maybe I'm like the only one here that thinks this. I think so, but my favorite part of the movie was Matt Damon. I really liked Matt Damon's character.
Matt Damon's good. Yeah, I liked him a lot too.
He was the general, right?
Yeah, I just thought he was like, I guess because that was like my favorite part of the movie was when they were doing the actual like working on the bomb stuff, and he's usually the one that brought in the conflicts, so it like just led to the more interesting scenes for me.
Yeah, and we find out later that he's actually the person that brought the after the war and everything. There's a spy or a mole that's found. Matt Damon's character is actually the guy that brought that person onto the base.
Who did it end up being?
I think it was the British guy. I think it was one of the British scientists.
Oh yeah,
British scientist that was like defected from Germany.
Yeah, it was him. And
it was the guy that it was obviously going to be.
Basically, yeah.
But he wasn't.
Like,
he wasn't German.
This German.
He wasn't German. He was actually British.
In the movie, Oppenheimer asked, "How long have you been British?" And he was like, "Since they said I wasn't German or something like that.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
same guy?
I believe so, unless if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah,
The way
I'm not
I
sure.
understood it was
The way
it
I
ended up
remember
being the guy that I was like, I was like, it's probably not going to be this guy because it's so obvious that it's him. But then it ended up being him.
I think you told me that you think he's kind of sus.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Matt Damon's character is the one that brought him onto the base. It's kind of ironic because later in the hearing for Oppenheimer, Matt Damon's asked if he would reinstate or if he would pick Oppenheimer to lead the project if it were today, and he says no, he wouldn't, that he wouldn't trust him.
Well, no, that's not what he said, though. They said, under these specific newly written guidelines that we wrote, would you pick him? And he goes, under those guidelines, no, but I wouldn't pick any of you.
Yeah, he said he wouldn't pick any of the scientists.
But I think he was still on Oppenheimer's side.
No, yeah, he was. He for sure was. He definitely had
Thing is, they like
Soft
so
spot for him.
specifically.
He was backed in a corner.
Yeah, they like asked him by these specific like things written out.
Well, yeah, the hearing was unfair. It wasn't just, and it was all deliberate by Strauss.
To ruin his name.
Yeah, and they came up with the questions. They knew what they were going to ask, and he didn't know anything beforehand. So, like, he was set up to fail the whole time. It was just a
He refused
formality,
Evidence to his lawyer.
It's like Bert going on a date. It's just bound to end in disaster.
basically.
Yeah, well, on my dates, nothing much ever happens. So
But
I love the.
yeah. What else is there to talk about? The cast is awesome. It's stacked. The cast is stacked. Robert
Yeah,
Downey
it's weirdly
Jr.,
stacked.
Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Rami Malek, Matt Damon.
Let's go, Matt Damon.
Roderick from Loaded Diaper.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's his most famous from Loaded Diaper.
Yep.
That's true,
Diary
though.
of the
But
Wimpy
good
Kid,
Roderick, not new Roderick.
Josh Peck.
Wasn't Josh?
Josh Peck lands
Oh,
a
yeah.
role.
Yeah, but he has like 10 lines.
Yeah.
He has like the most important job.
Kenneth Branagh is in it, the director of
That's true.
Thor, and another famous actor. The cast is stacked. It's a great cast, and they all do a great job.
Albert Einstein came back just for this movie.
He made a cameo from the grave.
Yeah, Albert Einstein's in the movie.
I actually like the actor for Albert.
Yeah, he was a good Albert.
Yeah, and they do a good job setting up Strauss in the way that he thinks with that scene between Oppenheimer and Einstein.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't even talking about him.
Yeah, so in the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where Oppenheimer's talking to Einstein after it may be even, no, it's not after the hearing. When is that scene?
I think it's after the bomb, like right when they head back off of the base.
Yeah.
Like pretty soon after the bomb, probably in the first 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, probably something like that. But anyway, Oppenheimer and Einstein are talking, and we don't get to hear the conversation. But it's played
Until
out.
the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's played out to seem like they were talking shit about Strauss. And Strauss takes offense to it, even though he has no idea what they talked about, because Einstein kind of just gives him the cold shoulder. So he just thinks that Oppenheimer talked shit about him, and that's why Einstein doesn't like him. But it had
Because
actually
Einstein
nothing to
didn't
do
look
with
him in the
Strauss.
eye when they walked past.
Yeah, and that's kind of Strauss's whole downfall, is he thinks everything revolves around him, and he's really self-centered,
His
and
ego.
he's worried about his own political career and all of that, and it kind of backfires in his face, too, because the same guy that he asks to come speak at the hearing to see if he's going to be selected for the AEC president. I think it's the president of the AEC. But anyway, he's going to
I don't
be
know.
he's up to be elected for that spot in the presidential cabinet. And the person that he brings to speak for him actually shits on him and is actually pro Oppenheimer and kind of lets everybody know that Strauss kind of intentionally
Basically,
sabotaged Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But I think that's a lot of
That's the main things I have to say. I don't have anything else really. Besides, we can get into the ratings now, but
yeah. We do actually end up hearing what Oppenheimer and Einstein talked about, though, at the very end of the movie. It's the last line, I think. If not the last line, like It's one of the last
No, his
lines.
last line is that famous quote
What is it?
about death and becoming.
Yeah, but that kind of it calls back to that same conversation that they had. Basically, earlier in the movie, they thought that they were going to burn the atmosphere, and they go to Einstein and they ask him to double check the numbers. And Oppenheimer ends up talking to Einstein later in that scene by the pond, and
Was Einstein refused to run the numbers?
no, he didn't refuse. He
Oppenheimer
looked.
approached him.
He did it.
No, I don't think. Did he do it?
Yeah, he did it.
I don't
He
think
gave
he
him
did.
back.
Yeah, he gave him back.
I think he gave him back, saying,
No, I
I
think
won't
he
do
looked over it. He said, "Looks good enough." Like barely looking over.
And then Oppenheimer asked him to do it. He did do it. I know that he did.
it. Okay.
But Oppenheimer says, "Remember when I asked you that question and I thought we were going to destroy the world?" And Einstein's like, "Yeah, but it's fine. We didn't." And Oppenheimer's like, "No, I think we really did. I think we are the reason the world's going to end." Basically, meaning that they gave the world the weapon
To
that's
destroy the
capable of
world.
destroying it in the atomic bomb, which then leads to the hydrogen bomb. And they've kind of contributed, or not kind of, they have contributed to the one possible way that humanity could destroy itself.
Yeah, but someone would have done it if they didn't. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point.
Potentially worse
Oppenheimer
people.
just feels guilt for that. For basically the whole movie, he's guilty about something, and he's guilty. He has a lot of guilt and anxiety.
At least he's guilty.
Yeah.
I would be concerned if he wasn't.
Oh, you know what other line I really liked? This is true. Well, it's apparently true. When he's talking to President Truman, and Truman's trying to like congratulate him.
Truman's just a dick.
Oh yeah, wipe your tears, bitch.
And he calls him like a pussy or something.
Yeah, he's like, "Don't ever let that crybaby back into my office." Apparently, he really did say that, or he called Oppenheimer like a crybaby scientist or something like that. Basically, Truman just says, "You think you feel guilt? Nobody cares about who created the bomb. All they care about is who dropped it. And I'm the one that
That's true,
dropped
though.
it." That is not true, because Oppenheimer is on Time magazine. He's the father of the atomic bomb. Like, people care about who made the bomb. So Truman is a little...
Famous. He's famous because he made the bomb.
Yeah, Truman's self-centered a little bit, thinking that people care about that, which they do, but they definitely...
I think
Oppenheimer is
at
more...
the time, more people were like, "Fuck Truman for dropping a bomb on Japan." Like
America
as far
wasn't.
as like Japanese people.
Well, obviously.
America's not the whole world, though. Everyone else wasn't thinking "fuck Oppenheimer." They're thinking "fuck Truman."
The whole world wasn't. Probably just Japan. All of our allies probably didn't have a...
Well, they were like, "Okay, well, glad that wasn't us, but this is concerning."
Well, yeah, the whole
Yeah, like,
world is
what
concerned
just-
now, because
what
now
just
it's an
happened?
arms race. Because the whole world needed to catch up now, and now everybody's got atomic
Yeah.
weapons. Or nuclear weapons.
The ending, showing all the missiles flying to destroy the world, was pretty surreal.
Yeah, that's pretty scary and depressing.
Like you can definitely it's a possible reality you get from it feels like that's the feeling you get when you watch it.
Oh yeah, it definitely ends with you having all of that anxiety, and you start to feel like, wow, this is really possible. It really hammers that home. I agree
Yeah.
with you. That was a good scene.
All right, well let's move on to the ratings. I think we've done enough on this one.
All right,
Yeah, I think so.
Bert, you can go first.
So I'm gonna give it honestly like an 8 or a 9. We'll go with 9.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, Sebastian.
I'm gonna go with an 8. I thought it was really good, but I had a little bit of issue with it being overly confusing for me. Like, this could just be me in the beginning. But overall, I think it was very good, I would say. Like, one of the best movies I've seen in the last few years, for sure. Definitely one of the best of this year. So, I landed at an 8. I would say very good.
What about you, Alex?
I think I lean more towards a 9. I thought it was really good. I thought it was great. I think it's just the whole thing is really well put together, and everybody, like the cast, is awesome. Cillian Murphy gives like an Oscar-worthy performance. Like this might be the year that he gets an Oscar. RDJ gives an Oscar-worthy performance. So
I definitely want to see it again, just so because I know it happened. I feel like I'll be able to appreciate those finer details.
yeah, I think it definitely is one of the movies you can watch again.
You need a second rewatch.
Yeah, I want to watch it again too. Hopefully before it leaves the theaters. But yeah, I give it a 9.
All right.
Seems like we're out of...
Do you guys know? Actually, I wanted to ask you guys this. Do you guys know the other Christopher Nolan movies like Interstellar, Tenet, The Dark Knight?
Dark Knight.
Obviously.
I've seen...
I haven't seen Tenet, but I've seen Interstellar and Dark Knight, and personally, I would say both are better.
That's what I wanted to ask. Where do you think this ranks in like the Nolan films that you guys have seen?
I mean, I don't
The Nolanverse.
know all his movies. I don't know all his movies, but I would say my favorite of his is probably Dark Knight, and Interstellar I also think is better than this, but I think Interstellar is also an 8 for me. It's like very slightly better, you know?
Yeah.
I think Interstellar is also better. I like Interstellar a lot. And I think The Dark Knight is better too.
I have only seen Dark Knight.
Minute difference. Like, there's not a huge gap in quality between them, you know?
Yeah. Have you guys seen Inception?
Oh, Inception? That's a 9 right there.
I saw an explanatory
Inception
video
is also a Nolan film. And Dunkirk. I don't know if you guys have seen Dunkirk.
This is better than Dunkirk. Dunkirk was pretty mid for me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd put Inception, Dark Knight, and Interstellar ahead of it.
I agree with that. If I were to rank those 5 that you just said, it would be Dark Knight, Inception, Interstellar, Oppenheimer, and then Dunkirk.
Have you seen Tenet?
No.
I haven't seen Tenet either. That movie is also one of his best, apparently. I need to see that. I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
Okay, cool. I was curious about that. I didn't know where it ranked for you guys. That kind of wraps up the Oppenheimer stuff. And we're almost done, I think.
Yeah, I think we just get into our wrap up here. And
what we've been up to this past week?
Yeah, what have you guys been up to?
Well, I've been playing. Do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. I just finished watching Secret Invasion, the Disney Plus show, the Marvel Disney Plus show.
Spoil it.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I won't. There's no spoilers here. I'll kind of just give like general thoughts.
Exited the spoiler section.
Did you like the show or no?
I liked. I did like it. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the 6-episode format, though. I really think that ruins the shows. So I liked it about as much as I could. I don't know. It's not the best show. It's not great. It's not like anything crazy. So
is it better than Falcon and Winter Soldier?
Or She-Hulk?
I think it's better than She-Hulk.
Okay.
It's not better than Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I don't know. It's close. It's close.
Oh my god, I don't know if I want to watch this.
Yeah, I don't know. The ending's what really makes me think that, but you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it for yourself.
I've seen them all except for She-Hulk.
Definitely better than that.
I started She-Hulk.
Unpopular opinion here again. My favorite one is Hawkeye.
That's not that unpopular. Hawkeye's very good.
No, everyone says Moon Knight. Moon Knight or Loki are like the top ones.
Here's an unpopular opinion. Moon Knight is not that good.
I didn't think it was.
I think Moon Knight is the most overrated of the Disney Plus shows.
I think it was good, but the effects were bad.
I did not like Moon Knight as much as everybody else. I enjoyed it and I thought it was okay, but I am not like a super fan. Oscar Isaac is great and the character Moon Knight is awesome. He's cool. He's badass, but the show itself was just meh. I didn't really care. But
for me, I just thought Hawkeye was really good.
I enjoyed Hawkeye more too, yeah. But again, the 6-episode format thing just ruins the shows, I think. They don't have enough time to do it enough. Everything feels cut short. Everything.
How about this? Is it better than Ms. Marvel?
I think so.
Okay. It might be worth watching then. Ms. Marvel is really good for like 2 episodes, and then it sucks.
It's the 6-episode thing, man. I hate that.
It's the bad.
The
format.
best show, in my opinion, is WandaVision, and it's the longest one because it tells the most complete story.
Yeah, and then they tell the exact same story again in Multiverse of Madness.
Nah, not really.
That's awesome.
She's evil, and then she's like, shit, I shouldn't be evil. Let me be good. And then the same thing happens in Multiverse of Madness.
But my point is, WandaVision's the best Disney Plus show, in my opinion. And Loki's a close second. But anyway, that's what I've been up to. The SAG-AFTRA strike. I don't know if you guys know about that. Do you?
What
I don't know
that?
what that is.
SAG is the Screenwriters Association Guild, and then
Oh, okay, I do know what that is.
AFTRA is the...
I just never heard the acronym.
Yeah, AFTRA...
Actor one, I'm assuming.
The Actors Guild, basically. But first time in 60 years that both of these guilds have gone on strike at the same time. So Hollywood is in a complete shutdown. There's nothing being filmed. There's nothing being written. So
yeah,
the whole point of this podcast is about to be destroyed because nothing's being made.
No. This
have games.
applies to America. Anime is so strong right now.
Yeah.
With the summer season of anime has been great. And that is a perfect transition to mine. Even though this specific show I'm about to talk about is actually just okay. Buddy Daddies. This came out more in the winter, actually, but I just started watching Buddy Daddies. And it's pretty much like Spy Family, but not as good. But it's good enough to be pretty good, okay?
Just a nice, easy watch.
Yeah, it's one of those. But this is a little sidetrack from Buddy Daddies, but still on the anime topic. Rent a Girlfriend is now back for its 3rd season. They're like 4 or 5 episodes in right now. I'm so hyped for that. I'm waiting for it to get a little further so I can binge through them all. That's like one of my top 5 anime. So, season 3 of Rent a Girlfriend, I am so psyched for. I cannot wait until it's over and I can just watch them all in one night.
Yeah.
Have you seen Rent a Girlfriend, Bert?
I've seen season 1 and about half of season 2.
It's so funny.
It is pretty funny.
The first episode sucks, though. It's terrible.
We hate Mommy Chan.
Oh, yeah, Mommy? What a bitch.
Yeah.
How about you, Bert? What have you been up to?
So I've been playing this new game called Medieval Dynasty. It's
I've heard of it.
Game where it's like a survival city builder, where the whole point is to kind of establish like a kingdom, and you get like heirs, and you have to like talk to villagers and stuff to find a wife, and then you have to farm, and just like then it turns into like a city sim game.
That sounds
with,
cool.
Like, survival elements.
It sounds cool. It's not really my type of game, but it does sound cool.
I enjoy survival games. And
yeah, me
like,
too.
A lot to do, and you kind of like level up, like how you do in RuneScape. Like the more you do a certain activity, the more points you get for it.
Yeah, or like any game.
Yeah, that's true. And then I've been watching the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Me too.
Cartoon.
I just started that.
Yeah, I started it first. I'm the one that got you both hooked on it.
Yes. Oh my god, it unlocked childhood memories that I didn't know I had.
It's so good. I'm like midway through season 2.
I'm about like the first quarter in on season 2.
I'm like 6 episodes in, so I haven't seen. I don't remember. Well,
the later half of season 1 hits hard.
Yes, it gets so good. I don't know. Like the show's good from the get go.
Yeah,
but it just gets insane.
It really is so good. I can't believe that I forgot the show existed. This is exactly what I remember. Like this is my Ninja Turtles. This is the version of them that I know the best.
Because that show is what they made 3 games like 100% based off of, like even using cutscenes from the show.
Yeah, and
like,
we played
episodes.
those games too as kids.
Yeah. Speaking of Ninja Turtle games, this is more for the viewers than any of you guys because you two both know already, but we've been playing TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah, the three of us have been all playing that.
Yeah, we went through and beat it a while back, maybe like a week and a half ago or something like that.
Oh yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It was
2 weeks, yeah, maybe 2 weeks. And now we're going through to do all the challenges and things like that. So one of those that we are doing is there's a challenge to complete the first level undamaged.
And it's basically impossible.
Well, I mean, maybe for
better.
you. I'm getting hit the least, so.
I get hit the second least.
I pretty much
we're
just play the
basically
game.
Even.
I pretty much just
I
play
got
the
better.
game, and then one of them forces us to restart. And then occasionally I'll get hit by someone not watching my back and missing their guy, and then I just get like
Always
foot
how-
blasted to the back of my face.
Yeah, that does happen
But
a lot.
we've been on a Ninja Turtles like grind lately. I recently bought a bunch of Ninja Turtle comic books. I'm started reading through the IDW and the Last Ronin stuff. We've been playing the Ninja Turtle game.
Yeah, we're on a Ninja Turtles binge right now, which is perfect.
Watching the old movies.
Yes, this is perfect because
Yeah.
this leads right into our episode for next week.
We'll be talking more about turtles.
Well,
Yeah, so we're going through and watching all of the non-connected to TV shows Ninja Turtle movies. So the 90s trilogy, the TMNT 2007, I think it was,
yeah,
the animated one.
2007, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Bay movies.
Yep.
And then we got the new animated one, which personally I don't think it looks that good, but I'd like to be proved wrong.
Yeah, the
So
point
we'll
of this
see.
is
I'm hopeful.
what inspired the Ninja Turtle binge is because the new Ninja Turtle movie comes out, I think, August 2nd. So we're all three going to go see that.
I started this show way before that.
I think the early release for it was today.
I know, but the
Yeah.
point of that episode that inspired the episode is because it's relevant right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Ninja Turtles is relevant right now because there's a movie that's coming out.
Yeah, so we're watching all the old movies, and the plan is that next episode we are going to rank the Ninja Turtles movies with this new one.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the new one, and then we'll go through all of the ones I listed earlier and see how we rank them. Probably give an update on Shredder's Revenge, see if we've beaten that first level on hit yet. Probably not, though.
Yeah, pretty
And,
much.
yes.
We're gonna go see the movie. We'll review it. We'll give our ranking of all the Ninja Turtle movies, and that'll be
Turtle Takeover next week.
that'll
Point.
be episode 2, Turtle Takeover. I think that pretty
I'm
much.
excited for that.
I'm very excited
Because, like, I enjoyed these movies, but movies aren't my main thing. Turtles, though. I love the Turtles.
Just a brief end note. I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but remember that kid that said, "I like turtles"? On
Yeah.
Vine or something?
with the
Yeah,
face,
he
remade
with the
the
face
video.
paint. That guy.
Yeah. He remade the video and now. And he's
That's funny.
18 or something.
Wow, that's
something. It's pretty funny.
very random.
But I'm
know.
excited, guys.
It's just
Next
gonna be
week
good.
is a very turtle-focused episode, and I think we'll see how it works out, but I think every single episode we're going to be doing a section like this at the end, like what have you guys been up to?
Yeah, I think so. This will probably be a normal thing that we do, and we'll probably try to transition it into like a preview for the upcoming episode or episodes, whatever's going on. So.
Definitely.
At least
And-
bring up what's going to happen.
So our schedule's a little bit weird right now. We're going to be getting 2 in a row here because we're trying to hit this Ninja Turtles thing, but then we're going to move back to bi-weekly. We've never done bi-weekly because we just started, but
Yeah.
we're going to eventually settle into bi-weekly. There's just some stuff we want to catch up on, and then we move back into the bi-weekly every other Wednesday scheduling.
Yeah, that's the
And
goal.
maybe we'll throw in a bonus thing if there's something we really want to talk about, like a short 30, 45 minute about whatever one topic. But the main thing is we're going to get settled into the bi-weekly Wednesday thing eventually. And next week, though, we're going to come out with another one. It's the Turtle Boys.
Turtle Takeover.
Can't wait for that one.
Take over.
Yep, I think that wraps everything up. Unless anybody else has anything they want to say.
I'm content.
I'm good on that one.
All right.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for
Listening.
watching. We'll see you guys
Or listening.
next week for the Turtle Takeover episode.
Yeah.
Keep it salty, guys.